present the colors. If you are in uniform, please salute. If you are not in uniform, please put your hand on the heart and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Color guard dismissed. Okay, thank you everyone for coming today. I know you guys might be busy, but I really appreciate you all coming to support me, and it is really my great privilege here to stand before you this afternoon, which is the 80th anniversary of Japan's official surrender in World War II. So on September 2nd, 1945, aboard the USS Missouri, the war came to an end and a new chapter of peace began in our nation's history. And the sword we unveil here today connects us directly to that historic moment. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my project. Last year when I spoke with our Assistant Scoutmaster, Mr. Mike Rolls, about preparing my Eagle Scout project, he introduced me to the museum and Dr. Smith, and who is the museum director. Dr. Smith explained that the surrender sword's display conditions were not ideal, as it was previously in the hallway, a passing space which tended to have it be ignored, even though it's a really valuable historic artifact. And I quickly recognized the significance of this project, which was recasing it. And I believe that having it stand in the new case on its own in this room, especially since it's the war room, I'm very grateful to be a part of this project and this historical restoration process, and I feel a tremendous honor to take this responsibility. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the history of this sword. And this sword was surrendered by Admiral Kanji Ugaki to General Douglas MacArthur of the United States, and it's been safeguarded by the museum since 1945 as a symbol of the service and sacrifice of the sons of this academy. And my project was to design and build a new display case that both protects it and reflects its importance. And the execution was challenging, but it was very rewarding. From designing to producing a detailed brochure about the sword's history and significance, to carefully fitting each panel into this new case, the work required teamwork at every stage. And whether it be digging in historical files or for the brochure, or adjusting the panels to fit the case again and again and again, I truly couldn't have done it on my own. Thus, I owe a great deal of gratitude to the people who made this project possible. Dr. Smith generously gave me his time and knowledge, guiding me with patience about the true historical significance of this sword in a way that deepened my respect for it. And his prompt responses to my emails, I surely couldn't be more grateful for. And Mr. Mike Rolls supported me at every moment, always ready with quick solutions whenever we faced unexpected problems and encouragement whenever I faced challenges. And of course, I must have to thank my fellow scouts who it wouldn't be possible without you guys. The labor and the hands that behind this project, truly I couldn't have done on my own. And lastly, I'd like to thank both my parents, whose support was constant, whether it be driving both me and my fellow scouts to and from projects and the museum multiple times, to teaching me how to use power tools so that I didn't have to spend even more time trying to figure out how to screw a screw into a panel, and even offering me encouraging when I felt like I wanted to quit on this project. So I'm really deeply thankful for everyone, and their dedication and belief in me truly made this project possible from beginning to end. And as this case is unveiled, I hope it reminds us all of the history that our country has been through, and reminds us of the service and sacrifice of all who served in war to protect our freedom. Thank you all very much for your time. invite up Captain Anthony Serralo, who's actually the Eagle Scout class of 1984 and the acting superintendent of the Academy, to say a few words.
So good afternoon and welcome to the United States Merchant Marine Academy. It's awesome to see everyone here. Councilwoman Liu, thank you for making time. Al Shea, thank you for being here. To Dr. Smith, thanks for guiding Ethan through this project, to the scouts and the parents. It's just wonderful to see everybody. And Mike, thank you for kind of spearheading and providing opportunities for Dr. Smith to get some labor. But also that we keep scouting involved with this academy and scouting involved with this museum, because I truly think it's amazing. It's not easy to do an Eagle Scout project, having spoken from experience, just how challenging it can be. My project was building 30 duck and owl houses, which, back then we were using hand tools and it took forever, and so I decided to use power tools, and that ended up adding extra amounts of work onto my project when they found out I used power tools.
There were no 3D printers?
I'll tell you, Adam, it was crazy, because when I thought like I did a pretty good job on this project. We built 30 of these things, we hung them, and when I went to present it, they were like, we found out you use power tools. You gotta come up with something else. And so we ended up putting sawdust inside each of these houses that we had hung, and unfortunately, wildlife had already taken up residence. And so it made for a pretty interesting experience trying to close out the project. But I also want to thank Captain Zawarnicki, our acting provost, for being here. He is extremely involved in Sea Scouts and does like an amazing amount of work. And he doesn't have a lot of time, but yet he finds the time to give to his fellow scouts through his just total dedication and nonstop involvement with them. So JZ, thanks for being here as well. Interesting enough, you guys know what a surrender sword is? Surrender swords are pretty interesting. I had the opportunity when I was at the Joint Forces Staff College to take a staff ride. A staff ride is where all the students jump into a van and you go to a location and you really kind of walk the history of a battlefield. And this particular battlefield, we went to Yorktown and learned about the Battle of Yorktown and everything that had happened. And I remember my professor saying something very poignant. We went to the surrender field at Yorktown. I had never been to the surrender field at Yorktown. I was a 30-year active duty guy in the Coast Guard. There's a training center in Yorktown. It's actually on the battlefield. I had never taken the time to walk over to the surrender field. And he said something very poignant. As you know, when Cornwallis surrendered his sword, he didn't do it. He gave it to his second in command to do. And so General Washington said, well, I'm not going to accept it. I'm going to have my second in command accept the sword. And so my prof said, it's one thing to declare your independence. And we did that on the 4th of July in Philadelphia. It's an entirely different thing to earn it. And that's really where our independence happened. It was on that surrender field. And so this sword says a lot, right? It says it's not just the end of World War II, in a sense, it's the end of tyranny. And so what you did, Ethan, is you not only preserved a piece of history and gave it a place of honor, but you're showcasing it. And I kind of look at that, and what we're about to see is kind of like the end of tyranny, and showcasing the end of tyranny. So it's pretty amazing that you're involved, and your Eagle Scout project is going to live on for a very long time, and that's really neat. One last story. So I had the opportunity to serve at the White House. Had an interview for the job on the National Security Council, and I remember I had an interview on the phone in November of 2010, and then I had a face-to-face interview in December of 2010 and ended up getting the job and started in 2011. And so 2 years of my tour goes by, and now it's time to pick the guy or the gal that's going to replace me. And so we're looking for how do we set up the interviews. And I remember I had to do a two-page resume. And on my resume, I actually put down, I'm an Eagle Scout. And in my research, as I'm getting ready to set up how we're going to do these interviews and these resumes, I came across 6 sets of resumes. And so I didn't look at the other 5, but I did look at mine. And the reason that there were 8 copies of my resume was because they had distributed it to the staff who were interviewing me. And I remember just kind of thumbing through it and seeing the handwritten notes on these resumes. And I will tell you that 6 out of the 8 resumes had Eagle Scout circled on the resume. Now, nothing that I did at the Coast Guard Academy, nothing in my career. I had commanded ships. I had been aide to an admiral. I had been on the staff of the Secretary of the Department of Transportation. That stuff wasn't circled. Eagle Scout was circled. That struck me. So when you guys start feeling like peers are pressuring you because scouting is not cool, reject it. Because scouting made a world of difference in my life, still impacts me to this day. The things that I learned in scouting, the leadership lessons that I learned in scouting, small unit leadership, taking care of your fellow scouts, being diligent, not cutting corners, doing the right thing, it all makes a difference. And it can even impact where you end up working later on in your life. So, thank you for allowing me to tell you a few stories and reflect back on my very old history. In 1984, I wanted to cringe when he said that. But it's been one of the things that I remember most about growing up with my dad. My dad was our scoutmaster, and all my fondest memories of spending time with my dad were through scouting. So, congratulations, Ethan. You still got some merit badges to earn, and you got to wrap up the project, right? And wrap up your Eagle Scout with a solid border review. I look forward to hearing about when your Court of Honor is going to be. So, thanks everybody. And appreciate it. And I'd like to introduce Councilwoman Wu.
Everybody. So I have war stories to share. Back in Vietnam. But I do feel that this is pretty much home for me. I come here at least 4 or 5 times in a season now. Mike is not reason. Whether it be graduations or bringing high school clubs here to tour, inviting the academy to come to certain high schools for career fair. We've just been partnering really well together, and I'm really honored to be invited here again. I was just here 2 weeks ago. So thank you, Ethan, and your family and the Scouts for inviting me here, and of course the wonderful Merchant Marine Academy for always allowing me to come and to support you guys in any way, shape, and form. So when I first heard about this project, I thought, how did he come up with this project? Probably has to do a little bit with Mr. Mike Rolls, right? He's probably hiding there. I've been to a number of Eagle Scout Court of Honors now, and his name is mentioned every other word. How he's influenced so many scouts, and how he's mentored them, how he's brought them here, how he's taught them, and I'm just thinking, there should be a banner with his name on it, along with Doc, right? So the 2 of them have just served so diligently with this Boy Scout troop that I believe the Great Neck Troop 10 Boy Scout troop, or Scout troop I should say now, is the largest in Nassau County. It has the most scouts in it, and it has to do with leadership and teamwork and mentorship, and you are a direct result of that. And today we are very proud here, as well as your parents as well, to be able to unveil something that you not only thought about, but you actually put into action, and with power tools. Okay, good job. I used to assemble, I furniture with that little Allen wrench thing. I hate those things. So if I used a power tool on it, it would destroy the whole bookshelf. So kudos to the power tools, and of course to your parents for supporting you. But it really takes a whole village, right? It takes, our scout masters. It takes the historian here, a museum expert here. It takes, our admirals here are with you and supporting you. Your family, your scouts, your Cub Scout troop here. It's everybody, including myself. Now I'm a part of this as well. So I thought, this room is really applicable. It's really meaningful, because if you look at that banner there, I'll probably get a little emotional, but 142 midshipmen lost their lives in World War II. That says a lot. So to put the surrender sword here, in this war room, with the midshipmen, and Belle is over there, it's very meaningful. So thank you for the project. I always try not to be emotional, but it always gets the best of me. So we're very proud for your endeavors, and thank you so much. I don't know what the surrender sword actually looks like. I can't remember. I did take a tour, but does it look like a samurai sword?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. A samurai sword. But this is super meaningful, and we're here behind you, and I'm looking forward to future Eagle Scout projects and future Court of Honor ceremonies. And this is the first time I've been to an Eagle Scout project at the Academy, actually. A lot of them are really meaningful. They help make parks safer. They help make the community, the livelihood of the community better. They refurbish furniture in parks and playgrounds, right? But today I think is very significant. And you timed it so well. You had to have finished your project on time for today's unveiling, September 2nd, 80th year anniversary. So kudos. Good job.
All right, that's it for the speeches for now. Captain Serrano, would you join me in
Absolutely.
sword? Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. That was fantastic. Good work.
Thank you.
That is amazing. Good job, man.
Love the way the light is shining upon it like that. It's such good lighting there too.
That is really cool. That came out fantastic.
Maybe we should take a picture of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Get rid of this.
Give this one.
There you go.
When you part, give it to them.
This one?
The one with the block?
Yeah, that's
Like this?
I guess is anything blocked?
I'm gonna take one too. I'll get out of the way. They'll let everybody go first. I'm gonna bring the light down here real quick. See if I can get the reflection down.
This will be the picture.
We'll go 3, 2, I'm actually going to do one closer just because.
It's really
In
close.
fact, I'm going to start. This is a little video on the sword, and then I'm going to back up. 3. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Great job. Everybody should come.
Yeah, please, you guys should put the second out.
So before we part, I'd like to give you this.
That is awesome. Thank you.
Let's do this the right way. Let's do this the right way. Okay?
All right.
That's the right way.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, I have something to present to Ethan as well. So for all of your hard work, dedication, blood, sweat, and tears. Hopefully not much blood.
No blood.
Okay. Well, be it that on September 2nd, 2025, you declared a special day of recognition throughout the town of North Hempstead for Ethan Lamb in unveiling a ceremonial World War II Japanese surrender sword at the 80th anniversary ceremony at the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Okay, yes.
Well done,
could you guys come take a picture with me? You guys help so much, and I just don't want you guys to be unrecognized.
Excellent.
That makes sense. Wait, we can't see one person. Oh, a little bit.
Mind the window.
Yes.
And just hold your place, guys. I'm about to.
Yeah, and-
Oh, no, after you do it. All right.
Sorry, one more.
One more to it.
Timo.
No, a little bit more, Timo. Yeah, Timo. There you go, like that. I think, Timo, you can come out a little more. It's okay. Yeah, right there. That's good. Right? 3, 2. Great job. Thank you, guys. All right.